maybe by the time he's ready for an undisputed fight, it'll be against Filip Hrgović.
This is Jonathan Agger, fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Frank Smith here at Matchroom HQ. A little media event today for your show on September 30th, headlined by Jordan Thompson. First of all, how you been?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Bit warm, but a lovely summer's day here in Brentwood, overlooking the city of London. Yeah, good. It's nice to have everyone down here.
Yeah, Jordan Thompson. You know, he's been saying for a while he wants a world title shot. Some people might look at it and say, Opetaia world champion, maybe a bit early, but you must have full confidence in him to put him in a fight like this.
Yeah, look, I don't think these are opportunities you can turn down. You know, look, we all know how good Jai Opetaia is. You know, many believe he's the number one in the cruiserweight division. Obviously, he had that great win against Breedis, and you can't turn these kind of fights down. You can't turn these fights down. And Jordan, yes, has he maybe had some of the experience fights? Possibly not, but I don't think this is, you know, look, he can go in there and he can change his life on September 30, and he wanted this fight. As soon as the opportunity presented itself, he can change his life, and you know, I give him a chance. Don't get me wrong, it's a hard fight, it's a very hard fight, but he's a big puncher, Jordan Thompson, and he can go in there and, like I say, win, lose or draw, if he goes in there and gives it his all, he's got a huge future in the sport.
And in terms of the undercard, we've got a few of them here today. Who should people be looking out for it on there, in your opinion?
Look, you obviously got Ellie Scotney's first defence of her world title. She had a great win. I think it was at Wembley actually last time, where she won the belt in June. You know, so great to see her back out. You've obviously got Chev Clark as well on the card against Vasil Ducar. Ducar's obviously someone that Jordan Thompson's boxed. He's a tough test for Chev Clark, but Chev wants to move at pace, and I think we're in for a great fight there. You got Shannon Ryan's on the card, you got Jimmy Sains, you got Ibrahim Suleiman's on there, you got Maisie Rose, you got George Liddard. So a stacked card top to bottom, and excited for it.
Let's move on, Frank. I want to get your reaction to yesterday's press conference. Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. How do you think it went down?
I didn't watch the whole press conference. I saw clips of it. It was a great setup, you know. Look, and Tyson's an entertainer, isn't it? It's what he does. You know, it was. I think it's going to be a massive event. You know, I've been quite open about it. I believe it'll be a massive event, but at the same time, you know, my only thing is criticism has been it's the best in one sport against the best in another. You know, so it's not the most competitive fight in the world, is it? Because the guy's never been in the boxing ring before professionally. But look, I think we're in for a massive event, and it's, you know, I'll be watching, I'm sure.
But is it more competitive on paper than the Chisora fight? I mean, you know, no one gave him a chance going in, and Fury won that easy. So is this the same level, or harder, or easier?
No, I don't know. Look, I think it's hard to say. You know, look, Francis is obviously a very tough man, but you know, if Tyson got in the cage, for example, do you give him a chance against Ngannou?
I mean, not really. It wouldn't be favourite. Put it
exactly. So, like, I think it is two completely different disciplines, and you know that's the reality of it. It's not taking anything away from either of them. But look, Francis is tough. Look, Derek's a tough man, isn't he? You know, but look, I think take it for what it is. I'll be watching, as I say.
Tyson said various things yesterday that I want to ask you about. So firstly, he didn't seem like he's that interested in the Usyk fight. You know, reading between the lines, he was saying, you know, John Jones, he mentioned that fight. I mean, is he interested in that fight? Do you think that fight will happen?
I don't know. I kind of take everything Tyson says with a pinch of salt. You know, he says one day that he wants to fight undisputed, and the next day he wants to fight this person. The next day he's going to fight in the cage. I don't know, mate. I kind of, you have to just wait and see what Tyson Fury decides, don't you? He's an entertainer. It's what he does. And look, our aim is to make Usyk Hrgović anyway. So you know, maybe by the time he's ready for an undisputed fight, it'll be against Filip Hrgović.
And then, you know, he was asked about Joshua, and he was saying that he's a gym sweeper and a journeyman and all of this stuff. What do you make of that? Why do you think he's calling Joshua a journeyman?
It's just what he does, isn't it? It's what he does. You know, look, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. That's Tyson. That's what Tyson has done his whole career. But you know, Anthony Joshua's made a lot more money than Tyson Fury, so he hasn't done bad for a gym sweeper, has he?
Joshua Wilder, you had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, with Derek Chisora and Skills Challenge. Hasn't seemed to be much progression since then. What's the latest?
Yeah, look, there's a lot going on in Saudi around boxing. You know, you've obviously got another party involved now who are delivering the Fury and Ngannou fight. You know, there is a chance that we have to look at elsewhere as well for that fight, amongst other fights. You know, it has slowed up in all honesty. We've been told multiple times the fight's happening, but you know, we have to now take our you know, a plan elsewhere and see what we can create. But you know, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I think we've got the intent to try and make it happen. It just all has to stack up.
What's the main stumbling block at the moment with that fight happening? Because it seemed to be that everyone was happy with the money and things like that. We did speak to Shane Fury yesterday, and he said that you know, the reason is because the people, as you mentioned, putting this Fury and Ngannou fight on are the guys that would have to put on the Joshua Wilder fight, and that's the reason why, because they're not involved. Is that true?
I think, as I said, there's a change in structure for sure, which you know could affect the previous discussions that have been happening, and you know, that means we probably have to reset in some ways. But you know, like, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not saying it is happening. I'm saying we're still going to try and work to see if we can make it happen. And, you know, look, explore other opportunities as well. Whether that's in the US, you know, I think is a massive fight in the US. Whether that's in Abu Dhabi, whether that's in other territories, let's see.
And then just finally, Eubank Benn, is Conor Benn likely to have a fight before then? Obviously, September 23rd, he said to reporters last week that that's the date he wants. What's the latest?
There's still work being done in the background. There's a chance he doesn't box on that date. Our focus is to deliver a massive event for Conor Benn. He's been out the ring for a long time. It would be great to shake off that ring rust. He hasn't boxed for nearly 18 months, I think it is. But we'll have to see how the next week or two go. You know, but definitely the focus is to try and make that Chris Eubank fight. Chris has got opportunities, a lot of other opportunities, I'm sure. You know, he's talking about potential world title fights as well. So we'll have to see. But I think, you know, no one can argue, and you know, it's the biggest fight out there to be made. And I'm confident it can get made.
Obviously, the first time it was meant to happen, you sold out the O2 for that fight. I don't think anyone could say it's not a stadium fight right now. But if you do that in the UK, obviously, you know, UCAD and the British Board of Appeal launched an appeal against the decision for Benn to fight to be cleared. So is that a stumbling block for it to take place in the UK at the moment?
Look, he currently has no suspension in any way. He can't be stopped from boxing in the United Kingdom. You know, he's got a licence with an international body, and you know, there's potential, just as many other boxers foreign licences in the UK. You know, that's so they can't stop him from boxing while he's not suspended. You know, the appeal is, as you say, is another story. If the appeal goes on and he was to lose that, it's a different case. But right now, you know, he won the appeal. He's been through the process with the WBC. Sorry, he won the first case, and they've appealed it. So we'll have to see. But they can't stop him from boxing currently as a foreign boxer.
Final question. I spoke to Craig Richards over there, and he said, asked him about a potential fight with Lyndon Arthur, and that was mentioned by Calla last week. Has that been discussed, and is that a fight you would want to make?
Yeah, potentially. I've had some discussions with Nissa and Calla around it. It's also on the same, you know, there's also discussions around potential Bivol against Lyndon Arthur. So we'll have to see what happens.
And just on Usyk Hrgovic, is that close to being finalised? Because I saw you had a meeting with Alex Krasik the other day.
Look, we're waiting for the IBF to order it. You know, they said they'd order that fight next. He's waited a long time. He's been very patient, Filip Hrgovic, and he deserves his opportunity. So we're sure we'll see it next.
Frank, appreciate your time here at Matchroom. You're heading out to Mexico, I believe, next week.
Got to go to Barcelona this weekend for some meetings, there for a couple of days, then go to Mexico, then I'm in Miami, then Orlando, then back for the London show, then Sheffield. It's back to back all the way to Christmas. It's going to be a fun run.
Frank, appreciate your time, and we'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Mate.